Hello, my good people, lovers of mathematics. Today, I want us to look at completing the square. And there is a method that we use to solve quadratic equations and expressions. So the question that we want to handle is that you solve the following quadratic equation by completing the square. And the equation that we want to do is 2x squared plus 4x minus 9 is equals to 0. How do we work out this question? Remember, in quadratic equations we have different methods of solving quadratic equations. One is completing the square method, we have the factorization method, and also we have the quadratic formula. So with completing the square method, we have rules that we actually follow, and one of it is that you ensure that the coefficient of x squared, that is the quadratic term, is equivalent to 1. But in our case, our coefficient is equals to 2. So therefore, the first thing that we will do is to ensure that we eliminate this 2 so that we can make it 1, and by what we can do is that we divide a close by 2. So therefore, the first step is taking 2x squared plus 4x minus 9 is equals to 0. You first divide everything by 2. So we divide a close by 2 so that we can obtain 1, and there is 2. So this gives us x squared plus 2x minus 4.5 is equals to 0. Then the second step that you do is that you take the constant term to the other side. So you add it in both sides because it is subtraction. So it will be equivalent to x squared plus 2x is equals to 4.5. Then from there, remember the formula that we use in completing the square says that you take b, you divide it by 2, and then you square it, it will give you the AC. But since our A is equivalent to 1, therefore it will automatically give you the value C. So we need the new C, which will add to the left hand side and also add the same value to the right hand side. So this will be equivalent to 2 divided, remember our B, there is our A, our B, and our C. Remember, from the general equation of a quadratic is given by A, x squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So from this equation we are able to draw down our values, our b, which is equivalent to the coefficient of x, which is equivalent to 2 in this case. So it will be 2 divided by 2, then you square it, it will give you the value c. Because our value a is equals to 1, it will be equivalent to c. So if you narrow this down, it will be equivalent to 1 squared is equals to c. So this value, we are going to add it to the left hand side and also add it to the right hand side. And if we do so, it will give us x squared plus 2x plus 1 squared is equals to 4.5 plus 1 squared. Then at this stage, what we do is that we are going to like the terms together. In this case, when I talk about the liking terms together, we look at those ones with the similar square. We look at this x squared, and there is 1 squared. So therefore, we put those one with the squares at one point, and then we also drop the 2x so that we deal with those ones with the like terms. So it will be equivalent to x squared plus 1 squared is equals to, there is 4.5 plus 1. So therefore, there is if you want to factor out the square, it will be equivalent to x plus 1, then you square it, it will be equal to 5.5. Then from there, remember, on how to eliminate the square is by getting the square root. So we find the square root in both sides. So if we do that, the square root and the square will cancel out, and we remain with x plus 1 is equals to plus or minus the square root of 5.5, which is, we use your calculator, you will get it to be equivalent to 2.345. And then from this case, now we can get the value of x. That will be the x1, which will be when this value is equivalent to a positive, and by taking 1 to the other side, so it will be equivalent to 2.345 minus 1, which will be equivalent to, you use your calculator in that question, you get that it will be equivalent to 1.345. Then on the other side, if you want to get the other x2, it will be equivalent to, when this value is negative 2.345, then you are supposed to In this case you are supposed to minus 1, which will be equal to which will give you a negative value, that is negative 3.345. so these are the two values of x. By using the method of completing the square method, this is what we do so that we are able to arrive at the two answers which are correct, in this case in 3 decimal places. So therefore, my good people, if you are given a question on a